Hello, this is Mike Grimler, and I'm going to show you today the two preferred methods for loading a semi-automatic. I have two magazines with dummy rounds, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that this firearm is clear, it's not loaded. So the way I do that is first to remove the source of the ammunition. So I can see that I've got snap caps in here. I'll pretend that those are real rounds, and so I rack that out. Now I can make sure that there's no magazine and there's no round in the chamber. So that's the way we want to start off every time we are practicing with a firearm with regard to loading or reloading or any kind of practice dry fire, etc. Okay, basically there are two methods by which a semi-automatic can be loaded. The first method is to draw the gun from your holster in this configuration and lock the slide open. So lock the slide open. Notice I keep my finger along the frame the whole time. And then we get a magazine either from a pocket or a magazine holder, and we index it before we insert the magazine. And by that I mean you line the index finger up along the front edge of the magazine, you push back on this top round, you marry up here, straighten, and insert. Notice I'm not taking my hand away from the bottom of this magazine. Once I make contact with the palm of my hand, it remains there until I insert the magazine with one forceful push. Alright, so now the magazine is in the firearm and it's ready for a chamber, a round to go in the chamber. The method that I prefer at this point is to use the slide release lever. That way I've got the full force of this recoil spring working for me to get the round into the chamber, and there's no doubt whatsoever that that round is going to go in there. So, and I also like to manipulate the gun with my left hand as much as I can. So I'm going to activate the slide release. Now I'm going to decock, because this particular gun has a decocker where I can safely drop this hammer. And now I can holster the gun and be ready for drawing the gun from the holster. The other method is one that is an alternate, and it actually is in a lot of user manuals, but I need to show you one of the reasons I don't like it. Okay, so you start off with this method. You start off with the slide closed and decocked, so you draw the gun from your holster like this, and then you would take your magazine and insert it into the magazine well. Same method without losing contact with the palm. But the problem here is that if this is a full magazine, it's going to be pushing up against this closed action that's up here. And you might not insert it with enough force to make sure that it's seated properly. So you have to really jam it in there if you use this method. Then you have to rack the slide. And again, keep your finger off the trigger, come up over the top back of the slide area, cup your hand like this, and rack the slide forcefully. Now drop the hammer if you have a decocker, and now I have a loaded firearm. Like I said, the problem with this is that sometimes if you don't jam this magazine in hard enough, you'll wind up with the magazine sticking out a little bit like this, and then when you rack the slide, you're not going to pick a round up from the top of the magazine to get into the chamber, and you might not realize it until you draw your gun and squeeze the trigger in a bad situation, and it's going to go click instead of bang. So those are the two methods, and you can use whichever one you like, and in either case always make sure that there is a round in the chamber. Thanks for watching.